Hi, and welcome to Family Law Software. I'm Dan Kane, president of Family Law Software, and this is one of 4 videos for firm decision makers on why you should invest in family law software. This video will show data entry by clients and professionals. We will see that family law software makes data entry easy for clients, that family law software has a straightforward yet comprehensive way of collecting the full set of data needed for a family law matter, that family law software does complex and comprehensive calculations to get the right results, and that family law software collects the data necessary for complete and extensively footnoted financial affidavits. Let's begin where the case begins, with client data entry. This is the client data entry screen. It is a very simple one-screen layout. The data entries are straightforward and processing is very quick. When the client is done, the client clicks this button at the bottom to tell the professional that the professional should take a look. We are logging the client out, but not locking the client out. The client can log in at any time and continue entering data. This makes for happier clients. Now, let's open the professional software. This is the professional software cloud version. Now let's open the online client file that we just entered data for. The data is entered in a way that I, as a professional, want to see it, and we'll be talking about that in a few moments. But I can also see the way the data looks to the client. And so if I want the client to make a change, I can tell the client exactly where the client needs to go, exactly what buttons the client needs to click, and exactly what entries the client needs to change. Also, if I, as a professional, change the information, either on this screen here or any of the screens in the software, if those are entries that appear in the client's version, the client will see those changes. So the client and professional can truly work collaboratively on creating the data file. Now, if I, as a professional, want to continue working on a version that the client cannot change, I simply save the online client file under a new name. And now the file will be saved in the area called My Files, and the client will not have access. Now let's continue talking about the professional data entry. For this purpose, I'm going to open a sample file, which can be useful for all professionals who are using the software, just to explore how the data can be entered and how the analysis can be done. Lawyers, mediators, financial planners, and accountants use the software for 3 things. 1, calculating child support. 2, preparing their financial statements filed with the court or given to the other party, and 3, doing financial planning. The organization of the data entry reflects these 3 uses. The first data entry section is for child support. This is typically a long screen with sections that open and close for each category of data. The child support amount appears at the top, and it updates with each entry. So now it's $1,688 per month, as you can see. When I change the gross wages, it updates to $1,523 per month. In several states, the law provides formulas for the calculation of spousal support as well, and in those states, the software calculates the spousal support formulas as well. At the bottom of the screen, you can jump to the official child support worksheet. Also, you may want to enter a negotiated child or spousal support amount for budget purposes that is different than the calculated amount. And if you want to do that, you can just clear the calculated amount and enter this amount that will appear on the budget and cash flow documents. So child support is the first purpose for which professionals use the software. The second thing is to prepare the state financial affidavits. This is a complete statement of the income, expenses, assets, and debts of the parties, along with other descriptive information, and you will see that there is a screen dedicated to each section of the financial affidavit. There's a section for background and child information, a section for form information, which is the generally textual information that is specific to each individual state, and then sections for income and expenses, assets and debts, and pension plans that are fairly similar across all states. You may notice that some of the entry fields here are the same as the entry fields you saw on the child support screen. Any entry field that is the same, if it's filled in one place, will automatically be filled in every other place that it is needed. So you can start either on the Child Support Guideline Worksheet or on the financial statement, and any entries you make in the one place will be available and part of the calculation in the other place. It might be worth now looking at the real estate expenses screen, because these expenses are very important to the parties and they can be quite varied. When you enter current mortgage information that is readily obtainable from a current mortgage statement, the software will automatically amortize the remainder of the mortgage and calculate the tax-deductible interest on the mortgage. This in turn generates accurate taxes, which generate accurate budgets, and in states where taxes are a part of the child support calculation, accurate child support guidelines. The software allows the entry of residential real estate as well as rental real estate, as well as properties that are partly personal and partly rental use. The expense list that you see for real estate is customized to each state, so the numbers will flow correctly to the state's financial form. With real estate, as with all assets, the software allows the entry of marital versus separate property, or community versus separate property, which, as you probably know, is a legal way of referring to property typically that was acquired before the marriage or after the separation, and which is not subject to division in the divorce. You can then divide the marital property, saying what percent of each property will be kept by each party. You can also enter information about the intended sale of the property, either in the current year or in future years, and the software will track the relevant cash flows. You can enter information about a mortgage refinancing, and the software will also track those cash flows. I think this illustrates a point you will see throughout the software, which is that a divorce is an unusual legal transaction because of the extensive requirement of complex computation. That is where family law software shines, because it focuses on detailed and truly accurate cash flow, tax, and net worth projections. As is the case with virtually any item you enter, whether income, expense, asset, or liability, you can also enter a footnote specific to that item. As before, the data entry screens are very fast. You can enter a lot of data very quickly. Now turning to assets and liabilities, you can quickly enter those assets and liabilities that are needed for the state's financial form. It may be worth looking in particular at the entry of defined benefit pensions. Valuing defined benefit pensions is a computationally complex task, and family law software has an actuarially accurate valuation that actually is used by many pension valuation professionals. Yet the data entry is extremely easy. Just enter the birth date, the gender, who owns the plan, retirement age, and monthly benefit, and the software will show you the calculated value of the pension based on some common assumptions. Then, click the three dots to drill down and go through all of the assumptions and make sure they apply in your case, or change them if they don't. So we've looked at the use of the software to calculate child support and spousal support, and to enter information for the financial affidavit. The third use of the software is for detailed financial planning. And for that, you may want to look in more detail at the cash flows. To do that, simply click the three dots to drill down, and you will find the kind of information such as annual rates of appreciation, annual income, and annual value, which you may actually override on a year-to-year basis to enable you to do detailed financial planning of almost unlimited flexibility. Now, so far, we have been looking at the cloud version of the program. Here's the desktop version. You will see that the data entry screens and reports are identical with the cloud version. The only difference is where the menus are located, across the top versus along the side. This makes switching from desktop to cloud very easy. Also, it is possible to upload and download files between desktop and cloud, and many people use both the desktop and the cloud versions. So this completes our video on data entry for family law software for decision makers. What we have seen is that family law software makes data entry easy for clients, that family law software has a straightforward yet comprehensive way of collecting the full set of data needed for a family law matter, that family law software does complex and comprehensive calculations to get the right results, and that family law software collects the data necessary for complete and extensively footnoted financial affidavits. Thanks for watching.